Today's video is all about the best ship weapons to use in Starfield. We're going to go over A, B, and C class ships, early level ships, in-game level ships, but in order to use all of these weapons that I'm going to talk about, you need to be level 60 to unlock them from the ship vendor. If you are confused as to why you can't see these weapons, you need to be level 60. You also should be shopping in New Atlantis and shop from the ship technician. Yes, there are other weapons and from other vendors, but this video will cover everything from New Atlantis, because when you New Game Plus, that's generally the first one you'll hit up, and you don't need anything from other shop vendors. Everything you need is right here in New Atlantis. Now, this is a follow-up video to a video called Starfield, the best ship parts to use and why. This will cover shields, reactors, all that fun stuff. Just go into the description, click the timestamp for any other part. This video will only be covering weapons, so let's get into it. I'm going to give you a quick overview of the weapons, just real fast. So lasers have a low range, they do low damage versus hull, but they do an okay amount of damage versus shields. Ballistics are bullets, they have the lowest range in the game. They have low damage versus shields. They do decent damage against the hull. Missiles only have 2,000 range regardless of what the tooltip says. You have to lock on for them to actually hit. They are the slowest projectile, and they take the longest to recharge no matter how much power you allocate to them. Particle beams have the highest DPS. They have infinite DPS. They have the longest range, and they have the highest burst damage, which I will show you in a bit. Suppressor weapons are for boarding only, and I'll talk more about those later in the video. They're pretty simple to get. I just want to show you the list of weapons that I have tested here. So if I go to weapons, this is a very, very long list. It goes from A to C rank weapons, and just look at this. Just every single one of these, I loaded up as much as I could, flew out into space, and fought the UC faction, which is right outside of New Atlantis, and then I did speedrun tests, I did survival tests, DPS tests, bursting damage tests, how reliable they were. I did everything. This video took like almost a full week to make. Here's what we're going to cover in the video. We're going to talk about the best individual weapons for each category: best laser, best missile, best ballistics, etc. We'll talk about the best combinations of weapons. So these are builds that you're going to use 3 sets of different weapons, which will work in conjunction with each other to just wipe out entire fleet solo. The worst weapons that you should never use, and then how boarding and suppressors work. Let's get into it. The best laser is the Dragon 261P SX Pulse Laser. It has the best range out of the lasers, the best DPS out of the lasers. It's only 3 power, so you can use 4 of these bad boys. It's a C-class weapon, and its range is actually 1,250, not 1,000. The best ballistic is the MKE 9A Auto Gauss Gun. It has the highest DPS out of the ballistic weapons. It's 4 power though, so you can only use 3 of them on your ship, and it is a C-class weapon. The best particle beam for burst damage is the PBO-175 Auto Hellion Beam. It has the highest DPS for particle beams. It has decent range. You can use 4 of them, and it's a B-class. The best particle beam for sniping or sustained DPS is the Disruptor 3320 Neutron Beam. It is 4,000 range, it shoots infinitely, it only takes 3 power, so you can have 4 of them, and it's also only B-class. The best auto turret is the Disruptor 3320 Neutron Turret. This is the longest turret range. 3,500 is when it will start automatically shooting whatever is within that range. It is the smartest AI. It also has the highest DPS out of all the turrets, and this is just the best weapon in the game. I'll talk more and show you examples later, but let's keep moving. Oh, it's a B-class, and you can have 4 of them. I forgot that part. The best burst damage missile launcher is the At-Lati 280C missile launcher. It is the biggest damage single hit in the entire game. It's a C-class weapon. You can only have 3 of them on your ship, and it only fires twice before requiring a very long recharge, but those 2 times that you do shoot it will delete just about everything in the game, assuming the shields are down. The best sustained damage missile launcher is the Hunter Mag 450. You have 10 shots before you need to recharge. It's only 3 power, so you can have 4 of them. It's a Class B, and it has much higher damage than what the tooltip says. This thing smacks really, really hard. If you shoot 10 of these at anything, it kills it. It's overall really the best missile launcher you can get. But missile launchers suck in this game. They're terrible. You should never use them. Don't ever equip this on your ship unless you're doing it for roleplay reasons. The best suppressor weapon is the Spark 750. Now, let me talk about this because people are going to argue with me with this in the comments. Let me talk about how suppressors work. You want a suppressor that deals almost no hull or shield damage. You cannot suppress a ship if their shields are active. So all suppressors naturally have shield damage so that their shields cannot recharge. Because you want the lowest hull damage weapon available, this is so you don't destroy the ship. Your whole purpose is to disable their ship so that you can board them. And the way you do this is you target their engines and you fire your suppressor. The electromagnetic damage does not matter for dealing damage to their engines. It just, I don't understand why. You can equip a whole bunch of very high-powered suppressors, and you will disable any ship in the game the exact same as using a single Spark 750, which is the weakest suppressor. So, again, electromagnetic damage stat means absolutely nothing. And if you try to suppress a ship with shields up, it does nothing. If you suppress any other, like, weapon part, it's the exact same. You just need a few hits with the Spark 750, their engines are disabled, and if they are the only ship left alive in the battlefield, you can board them and then kill the crew, loot all their crap, steal the ship, or once you've cleaned the crew out, you can unboard and then blow up the ship and loot them anyway. It's whatever you want to do. But as far as all the other suppressors go, there are suppressors that have insanely high hull damage, which will just straight up kill the ship and you can't board it. Or they require more power, or there's just no reason not to use the the Spark 750. The best low-level weapon in the entire game as early as level 12, it might be earlier than that, is the Disruptor 3300 Electron Beam. It's also one of the cheapest weapons in the game. I forgot to put that on the screen. 4,000 range. It is the best, highest early DPS weapon, the best burst DPS weapon. It's Class A. So everyone can use it. You don't need any specialties or requirements. It is this weapon alone can defeat the entire game solo. You put 4 of these on a ship and you automatically win the game, even on very hard. I have a video that shows exactly how to do certain maneuvers with a ship without doing, glitchy stuff like making a circle or an L shape to be able to take on any, entire fleets in the entire game legitimately with this weapon. That video is right here, Starfield, the best ships to build for new players, how to win all space fights. Simply go to the description, look through the timestamps, and you'll find it right in there on how you can reverse at over 150 kilometers while sniping them with that exact weapon. Go check it out. There's links in every of my videos. There's links to all of these videos. Go look at them if you need it. Now, for the worst weapons, the EMP-200 has a high hull damage. It's a suppressor weapon, so if you destroy their hull, they die. You can't board them. This weapon is completely pointless, and no, if you don't lower the shields, it says it does 9 shield damage. It doesn't. It does 1. And the worst missile launcher, I guess you would equip this if you want to roleplay an idiot character that got scammed by a ship salesman. The Atlanti 290B missile launcher. It requires 10 power, so that means you can only equip 1 of these on your ship. It's a Class B weapon for some reason. It does much less damage than the tooltip says. It's one of the weakest missile launchers, and it has an insanely long recharge time, even if you give all 10 power to it. I don't understand the point of this weapon or its purpose. Maybe someone will do a playthrough where they only use this to kill an entire Starfleet and they can flex or something. I don't understand why this exists in the game. Now I'm going to talk about the best builds in best to worst order, and I'll talk about the parts. So the best build in the entire game is an auto turret build. You don't shoot at all. The only downside to this build is that you can't do preemptive attacks on friendly targets. You have to talk to them, hail them, and then tell them that you're going to attack them in order for your turrets to engage. You can't ram into them. There's no way to shoot a hostile bad guy. So if you want to replace, and the weapons are listed best to worst. So for the auto turret build, if you want to get rid of the Blaze P26 or 2GW SX pulse lasers and replace it with anything else, that's totally fine, so that you can just shoot whatever you want. Also, you can't mine asteroids with auto turrets. I'm sorry. That's the only downsides. For everything else, if you're just playing the game normal, you don't need to be attacking friendly targets. These auto turrets will shred absolutely everything. I have videos that I'm going to show you in just a bit, clips of how these perform and what it looks like, this is the best build in the game, the highest damage, it melts everything. Also, I just want to mention for auto turrets, when your auto turrets shoot an enemy, the enemy will go into evasion mode where they will use their thrusters, which will break your lock on them, but the auto turrets will still shoot them anyway. Every other weapon in the game, you have to manually aim to hit them at this part, but the auto turrets just continue hitting them. That's why they are the highest damage, highest DPS, etc., etc. So, the best builds, let's go to the all-rounder, and this uses one turret and then two, a burst beam and a sniper beam. So, it is the second best one because the way this works is, what you do is you retreat to 4,000 meters away. Your auto turret will attack the closest target. So if you're fighting 20 ships, it's really hard to keep track of all of them. But if you watch your auto turret, it'll shoot the closest target. Then you just open fire with your other two weapons and delete it immediately. It's just all around better. The quick burst is 3 weapons that shoot much faster and have higher burst DPS, but they cannot be infinitely sustained. So what you do is you delete one ship, you let your weapons recharge, you delete another ship, and so on and so forth. The infinite sustained sniper build allows you to shoot beyond 4,000 meters infinitely without ever stopping. So you retreat to 4,000 meters and then you just delete every single ship as they fly towards you. And then finally, for those that want to use lasers and ballistics, because particle weapons are kind of like cheating in this game, the Dragon 261P SX Pulse Laser, the Blaze 2GW SX Pulse Laser. You have 2 laser weapons, so you delete their shields, and then you use your Gauss gun, the MKE9As, to delete their health bar. And I'm going to show you clips now and talk about what's going on the screen. So let's talk about the auto turrets. The way you have to play these is in third person, because you need to see where your turrets are aiming. So as you can see, I had to tell this ship, that I'm going to pirate it, and it was like, no, you're not. So the auto turret's just deleted as soon as it turns hostile. It's already shooting at another target off of my screen. That is one of the greatest things about auto turrets, is if you position them correctly on your ship, they will always be shooting at a target, especially when you're surrounded. Also note that this is the only run, because I'm just attacking the UC outside of New Atlantis, this is the only run where I didn't have to retreat to recharge shields, because the auto turrets are putting all of the enemies around me in a defensive position, or it's just deleting them as soon as they come into range. Especially the low-level ships, they die before I even realize they're being shot at. It's really, really funny. And this is on very hard difficulty. So I'm just flying around and I don't have to focus on clicking enemy ships or anything of the sort. I can simply just do evasive maneuvers, corkscrews, spins. I can thrust every time there's a missile lock on me. Hell, I can just thrust at any target and the turrets will take care of it. The only downside to auto turrets is that you can't focus a specific target. Like if you want to kill a small ship first or a big ship, your turrets just kind of have a mind of their own. And but once there's only 1 or 2 ships left, it will just focus fire them down. But it's really good that it shoots every ship, because again, when you attack a ship, they use their thrusters to get away and reposition. So I'm just floating around and deleting all the ships. And this was also in my speedrun test, this was the fastest way to delete the entire fleet. Partially because I never had to run away to recharge my own shields, but also because it is just constantly shooting. Like right now, it's shooting things beyond my screen, like without having to reposition and aim and lock on and all that. It's just firing. And whenever an enemy does an evasive maneuver and flies past me, it just starts killing the next ship. So also note, it's at the same time it's disabling their weapons, it's disabling their engines, their shields. All automatically without me having to target them, so you don't have to put any points into ship targeting at all. There's no reason that if you're locked on to use ship targeting, yeah, 20% more damage, but again, there's no point. You just fly around, just corkscrew your ship, use your turbo boost, and every single thing gets deleted and dies. Auto turrets are the way to go. Again, the only downside is you can't use this build if you want to board ships or steal ships. And if you accidentally, make it like someone angry, you're role-playing as a good guy, and you accidentally make someone upset, your ship will just murder them. There is no running away, there is no resetting their aggro, or any of that stuff. So the all-rounder build, basically I can aggro friendlies whenever I want and burst them down, but also snipe if I need to. It's a sniper, it's a burst, it's also an automatic. So essentially, when I run away, because later on my shields do get depleted since I'm being shot by every single ship, the auto turret that I do have will tell me what is the closest target, So I'm just going to fast forward a bit here to the part where I lose all my shields, and it takes it a bit. Yeah, here we go. So I'm down to 9 shields, 6 shields, 3 shields, 0 shields. It's time to boost away and get some distance so that the enemies can't hit me. But you can hear my auto turrets still shooting. So I'm doing a reverse maneuver, which my other video teaches how to do. I'm reversing at 215 kilometers, and I'm able to attack enemies as they pursue me. But again, I'm faster than them because their ships cap out at 150, except for there's like a UC ship that has 180 speed, but we're at 215, so it can't really catch us. Regardless, if I stop reversing as soon as my shields recharge, as you can see, my shields are mostly recharged, so I stop reversing. The auto turrets will always acquire the closest person, which was on my right, which I didn't notice. But, you know, this allows you to snipe target. It's just an all-arounder. It does everything. It snipes, it bursts, it auto targets. So use the all-rounder if you want options. You can also, if you want to, you know, be diplomatic or not kill something, you just power down your auto turret. That's all you have to do. And I know some of you guys don't like using the G button on your keyboard for your third weapon. Just put your auto turret in that slot, or rebind it to your middle mouse click or side mouse buttons, which is what I technically do. But let's move on to the next build. So the fast burst particle beam, and I show off each weapon's fired individually so you can get an idea of how fast they fire and how often they will hit, as well as how fast they recharge, because this build does require that you recharge your weapon, so you can't fire forever. The way the build works is you acquire a target, you delete it immediately, and then you reposition. So I open with a level 30 UC Sec Chimera, who cares how the pronunciation works. You know, it's a YouTuber trick that we mispronounce words so that you leave a comment, by the way. And there you go, I'm bursting down this level 30 on very hard, instantly dead. It's just dead, it's just gone. But by the time it realizes it's being shot, it's already vaporized. And you'll see later here in the clip that when I do, like, I can just sprint, or not sprint, but turbo jet boost directly at a target and kill it before I pass it. No other build lets you do this. The only problem with the build, as you can see right here, is when the enemy uses their thrusters, it breaks your target lock. So you should be using your lock-on ability to target, you know, their weapon parts, so you deal more damage also, and it slows time. I didn't do this except for one part in the video. I don't know if I'll show it. But also, you can shoot from very far away, but not as far as the sniper build. You can see here that I am just instantly deleting ships. So if you're fighting just a few ships at a time, or you're playing on very easy, this is the build you want to use, because it will instantly kill everything. It is the highest burst DPS build in the game, but it is not sustained DPS. So you can see here, like, the longsword, it died in a second of just holding down my buttons. And like I said, if the ships are you know, doing crazy maneuvers or breaking your lock, you'll either have to manually aim your particle beams. And particle beams, by the way, they travel faster than bullets, they travel faster than lasers, and of course missiles. So you can see my shields are down, so I do have to do a where I boost away from the enemies and then reverse and try to shoot at them so that my shields can recharge. And if there's any fast ships, I mean, you'll delete them immediately, but I don't have sniper potential. I can't shoot as far as the sniper build. Let's go on to the next build. So the sniper build, as you can see, when I fire weapons individually, it doesn't matter. I can fire them all at once, and I can fire them infinitely, as they will fully recharge. I can just hold these buttons down forever, and I will never run out of juice. So the way this build is optimized is when you get aggro, as in when you hit an enemy and they all start swarming after you, you fly super far away out of all of their range, then you reverse thrust, and you just pick them off one by one before they can ever shoot back. And that's how you play the sniper build. And with these 3 weapons, which I showed earlier, go ahead and rewind the video if you skipped ahead for some reason, you will just delete everything. You don't even need 3 weapons. You can just use the starter weapon. And you can see here that 4,600 meters too far away, but I get a little bit closer to this target, I believe. And I'm still, no, I stopped reversing. So you can see around 4,200, it starts hitting, and it just deletes their health before they get close. And if you reverse thrust at a certain speed, you know, by the time they get in range to fire, they're already dead. So it's not the highest DPS, but it is the longest range, and it is the safest way to play. You can use a ship with 0 shields if you want, and take out an entire fleet if you use this method. This one is for traditionalists. This is the laser and ballistics build. The way it works is you just fire lasers to lower their shields. I'll do it here in the Chimera. And once their shields are gone, you use your ballistics to delete their health bar, and they die at a reasonable speed, I guess, because some people feel like particle beams are cheating, so they want to use more traditional weapons. Now, these weapons have a much lower range, so you have to get around 2,000 meters to be able to do it. And also, if you want, you can just use your lasers when their shield is down. It won't deal as much damage, but it still deals some damage. You could also use your ballistics to chip away at their shield, but it does such little damage, I don't recommend it. So this one is a little, it's kind of like driving a stick shift. It'll make you look cool around your friends, I guess, but everyone is just using auto turrets and having a good, fun time while you're out here actually playing the game like it's a different type of, you know, space game. But you'll notice, like, these targets are all too far away. I have to get very close to shoot them, which means they all will be able to shoot back at me. So this one is a very high-risk playstyle. There's really no benefit to doing it. I just wanted to show you how much crappier lasers and ballistics are compared to all the other weapons. And there you go. That is the video. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like on the video. Also, that clicking noise you hear is when your computer fails to lock on because it's switching targets too rapidly. I don't know, it's a bug, whatever. Please leave, if you leave a like and a comment, it's like an algorithm cheat code. It really helps the video and get more views, which means I get to continue making this and not having to switch to other games to be able to feed myself. With that also said, please subscribe, because I got more good stuff coming out, a lot of useful things that I know you'll enjoy. And finally, on the right side of your screen, there is a video that you should absolutely click. If you don't click the video, then the next time you go to a gas station to get like a nice chilled drink, you know, maybe one of those frosty Slurpees, all the machines won't be working, and you'll have regretted wasting your time driving there.